Ellis Cinema back, another dish. How we doing out there? Good, great, grand, wonderful. As you see on your screen, your dial, however you are choosing to join me today, even though I'm pretty sure you're not coming here to listen to me. You're coming here for the guests, because why would you just listen to me? That sounds awful. So, but having said that, however you're joining us today, we both appreciate you. So let's go back a little bit here. Let's go back to something that I endured a few weeks back. I watched a couple of horror films that stung. Boy, did they sting. A couple of non-consensual and revenge films by the talented Meir Zarchi. I Spit on Your Grave, the OG, which was made in 78, but I don't think it came out until 1980. And the direct sequel, 40 years later, I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu. Now, get this, gang. I did both those movies in the same day. Back-to-back, no stopsies. I'm here to tell you, don't do that. It is rough. It was very rough. It impacted my hunger, my relationships. I was not in a good mood for quite some time. So I urge you, maybe watch one and then, I don't know, a month later check out the other one. Do not torture yourself like I did, because it was brutal. Anywho, I thought maybe we can add to the conversation. Lots and lots of people have been talking about I Spit on Your Grave for a very long time, as well as I Spit on Your Grave Deja Vu, but I figured because of my experience, I was going to try to do whatever I could to keep the conversation going. So, in case you missed the first episode of the I Spit on Your Grave Deja Vu, it now sends successful writer Jennifer Hills back to where it all began to face the wrath of the families of those she murdered. Kidnapped along with her daughter Christy, it's a tense game of hunt or be hunted against a ruthless gang of degenerates overseen by a violently unhinged matriarch, Becky. Oh my God, Becky was awful. Boy, did she make me hurt. She made me hurt. Anyway, some grudges refuse to be buried. So yes, that is I Spit on Your Grave Deja Vu. Now, you know that most of the audience knows I cannot stand doing this show. Hate it. Can't stand it. It's a waste of time. Unless I can get somebody interesting to talk to on the show. So I actually started bothering the lead on Instagram, and I just kept on just chipping at her, come on, And at first she was just like, I'm not doing it. I don't know you. I don't like you. That's not true. She didn't do any of that, but I did bother her until she decided to come on. So, Christy, who is Jennifer Hill's daughter in I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu. And just so we're clear, I think her name should now be synonymous with Camille Keaton when we're talking about I Spit on Your Grave, just because of how good her performance was. So joining us from all the way of None of Your Fucking Business, Jamie Bernadette, who played Christy in I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu. Christy, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh, it's touch and go, Jamie. It is touch and go sometimes, but I'm all right. Sorry for the long-winded intro.
No, it was great. I especially like the ending.
Well, I'm telling you, I'm not kidding you when I say that if we're going to be talking about I Spit on Your Grave, it's no disrespect to Camille Keaton. That's not at all. More or less, we need to be giving you more respect, because I thought you had a lot more to work with, I think, than Camille did the first time around in the late 70s there. And I thought you were able to have a little bit more range that Camille did, which is why I say that if we're going to be talking about I Spit on Your Grave, we need to be talking about Jamie Bernadette too.
Oh, thank you. Oh, but I was referring to when you said coming all the way from None of Your Fucking Business.
Okay, yes.
That was hilarious.
Good, because quite frankly, Jamie, it is none of their fucking business. So, so we got Camille Keaton, we got you, we got Maria Olsen, Jim Tavare, Jonathan Peacy, Jeremy Ferdman, Holgie Forrester, Roy Allen III, Alexandra Kenworthy, Terry Zarchi, and many, many, many more. So, my first question is, I mean, you are no stranger to the horror genre, are you?
No, not at all. I've worked in it for many, many years.
Yeah, you've been doing this. You've been in the acting game for a long time, 15 or so years, yeah?
Yeah, yeah, just chugging along, I always wanted to do horror since I was a child. So, and I mean, horror is the easiest selling genre. So there just tends to be a lot of it because I think filmmakers know that they can sell it. So it's natural, I think, for an actor to fall into it. But since there's so much of it, but I didn't just fall into it. I wanted to do horror. So as well as other genres, but I would just remember being a child and that is what I wanted. So it's cool.
So, because you were already in the horror genre, if you don't mind the cliche questions, how did you get involved with the project? Was this because, you are no stranger to the horror genre, or because you went after it? Kind of talk me through how you got hooked up with Meir Zarchi.
Well, I saw a casting notice for it, and it's funny, I almost didn't submit. I was like, I'm not talking about her being a model and stuff. I just was like, I'm not pretty enough to do it.
Oh, come on.
No, for real, I almost didn't submit. I was like, and then I'm like, you know what? It's just pushing a button. Like, you know what I mean? Just
Right.
why not? And then I got asked to send in a tape, which I did. And then I didn't hear back for a while. I know they auditioned hundreds and hundreds of actors for a small handful of parts. So, but there was like a delay there. So, and then they called me in to do an in-person audition. So I went in to do a second audition, and I just thought, you know what? If I meet Meir, like, I'm good. Because I had seen the original 78 film. So I thought it was extremely powerful. So I was like, if I just meet Meir, if he happens to be there today for my audition, I'm happy. I'm happy. It's okay if I don't get it. So I went in and I did meet Meir, and his son Terry was there also, who produced the film. And he was a little boy also in the original film. And, it was about a 45 roughly minute audition. And yeah, I mean, I felt good about it when I left. And I know Terry kind of chased me out after I left and was like, can I take your picture? And he took my picture by the elevator. He said that he knew at that point. And then I was called back a third time. Terry knew, but Meir was, just still seeing what was out there, unsure. You know what I mean?
Right.
So they called me in for a third audition, and I read with a whole bunch of different actors playing the other parts. So I sat in the room with them for about 5 hours.
Dang.
Yeah. And then a little bit more time passed, and I was like, maybe I should cut my hair, because I had to cut my hair for a reshoot, I believe, at the time. And then Terry actually called me, from what I remember, and was like, you're still up for it. And I was like, oh, good thing you told me I was about to cut my hair. Because I was trying to if I was going to get the role, I was coming off of films where I had to have really short hair. So I was trying to grow my hair out,
Right.
if I got I Spit. So I held off from cutting it. We ended up doing a wig for the other film for the reshoots to try to match it. And I tried to grow it out as much as possible for I Spit. And then, yeah, it was, I think, July. I was on set of a movie called Smothered by Mothers at the time, filming in Florida, when I got the call from Terry telling me I got the role.
That's awesome. And stressful, super stressful.
Yeah, it was an emotional time for me. I mean, I wanted it so badly. I was really like, after so many auditions and stuff, and time spent embodying that character and everything, I wanted it so bad. So when Terry called me and told me, I fell in the bed after we hung up and was crying my eyes out. Like, it was just this flood of emotion,
Right. So, I
And
mean, I guess
being
to
able-
that point, working with Meir, like, I mean, you get this opportunity now. Now, are you shaking in your boots, or is it's go time? I got this. This is mine.
No, for, you never really have the role until truly, I always say 2 weeks into the shoot, but the truth is, it could be the end of the shoot, or you could have finished shooting and they decide to look at the footage and reshoot someone else. I have seen it happen in a film where we shot the whole thing and the director went back, looked at the footage, and one of the roles that wasn't working for him for whatever reason and didn't fit his vision or whatever, and he recast and we reshot. So, and I think that happened on Back to the Future, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
I thought so, yeah. So I never truly felt comfortable. Maybe after a couple weeks, like I said, usually the 2-week mark, I'm like, okay, I haven't been fired yet, so maybe they still like me. But yeah, for me, yeah, it was never comfortable. We had a table read after that too, and I feel like all the other actors knew as well, like, I don't have, I could lose this. Everyone brought their A game, man, in that room. There was a lot of tension in that room.
Yeah, I mean, everybody did really good work. Like, their characters are very unique and very very personal. Like, Jonathan's character is definitely different than Jeremy's, and Jim's is different than Jonathan's, and so on and so forth. I thought we just had a cast of great character actors going, and every single one nailed it.
Yeah, for sure. I like the way Meir wrote this. He wrote what he envisioned and went with that rather than the quote unquote norm or being careful. What are people going to think? Because you have all these crazy characters, which didn't fit in with the other I Spit films. It was very unique. Yes. It's its own feeling, so he didn't just give the fans what they expected. He gave the fans something totally different at risk of being highly criticized for it. And I respect him for that. And he is either highly criticized by fans for it or like really praised for it. It's in one extreme spectrum or the other, I've noticed. And I kind of predicted it when I saw the film. I'm like, but yeah, I have to give him kudos for that. It takes a lot of guts.
Well, he definitely upset me, I'll tell you what, in the first cemetery sequence. And I don't like to do spoilers on this show. I'll just say what ends up happening with Jennifer. We'll just say that once that scene took place, I was very upset, Jamie. I was not happy at all.
Yeah. No, I get it. I was shocked when I read it.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Not expecting it.
No, not at all. If we can, let's go back a little bit talking about not being comfortable on the shoot. I saw that you guys shot this in 29 days, right?
That sounds about right. Yeah. I know it was around 30, maybe 31, I thought. But yeah, it could be 29.
For a movie that's 2 hours and 20 minutes or whatever it was, I gotta think it made you even less comfortable because you guys had to been just pedal to the metal from day one until you closed.
Yeah, but I'm used to that because I've done a lot of independent film. Like, independent films will sometimes shoot in 10 days or 17 days. Like, these are actually 29, 30-ish days for an independent film is actually longer than most independent films. So I'm used to doing 1 or 2 takes, but on I Spit, I got to do more a lot, But it's something you get used to doing independent films. It's not like I've been on big budgets where, they have 3/4 of a page and they film it for 14 hours. You know what I mean? And so many angles at the camera. They get so much from the actor, different takes from the actor, so I'm used to that fast pace, for sure. So yeah.
So I guess I have to know, well, I just think it might be interesting for the audience. Did you happen to go full method for this role, or to, not spiral into a dark place, did you keep it light in between takes, or was it like, no, man, right now I am Christy, leave me alone. I don't like you. Jonathan, get away from me. Kind of just your feelings on set.
Yeah, no, I'm not like Daniel Day-Lewis where I won't talk to anyone in between. And I have great respect for that. It's whatever works for each actor is different,
right.
But I'm not like that where I won't talk to actors in between the takes or the scenes or in the beginning of the day or the end of the day or whatever. But when we are doing a scene though, like between the takes, I try to stay in it. Because going in and out and in and out and in and out, especially when it's emotional work, can be harder to do, but I wouldn't be mean to Jonathan in between the takes. You know what I mean? I don't go that far, but I definitely, when it's emotional, I tend to keep to myself, and I have been told I'm kind of intense in that way. But for me, it's what works. It's what works. I'm not an actor who does a crying scene and then they yell cut and then I'm cracking jokes and then they yell action. We're doing another take and I'm crying again. Like I personally wouldn't recommend that for any actor. That's yikes. I try to stay emotionally, mentally there because the camera's going to pick it up. If you're there or not, the camera is so close, it's reading your eyes. It's gonna know if you're faking it or not. So it's best for me just to stay in it in between the takes.
Speaking of staying in it, was it at all intimidating to be across from Camille and continuing this very iconic film? Was there any intimidation at all, or you're just like, oh, she's fabulous, she's so easy to work with, this is cake?
Oh no, definitely intimidating. I mean, the whole thing was intimidating for me because I'm carrying on a franchise that is classic in horror. So everyone knows I spit. They teach it in universities across the world. So yeah, I was carrying on a legacy like that, like in the lead role. I was definitely, I felt a lot of pressure. But good thing, like Camille and I just immediately clicked. I mean, you would have thought we'd known each other for 30 years. So she actually made me more comfortable, even though I had seen her in the original and everything, and she's a star, she's a star in horror forever. She always will be. But because I felt so comfortable around her and she made me feel comfortable, it wasn't being around her that was intimidating. For me, it was just carrying on the legacy and what the fans were going to say about me carrying on that legacy, because they have very strong opinions.
I actually bash the horror fans probably once a week for how terrible they are. Just I don't know why. They're the most toxic fan base I've ever seen in my life. So I feel like anytime I get a chance to take them down a peg, I try to.
They're lovely. Most of them are lovely, but there's the few who, boy, they can be really mean. So I knew I'm carrying on a huge franchise here, so I knew there was going to be strong opinions, and I've had to build my backbone in this business because as an actor, you're going to get all the love, and then every once in a while, you're going to get some hate too, and that's just the way it is. Get used to it.
All right, so working with Camille, a little intimidating. What about Maria and Jonathan? Because, like I said at the beginning of the show, Maria made me uncomfortable. I just was like, I believe that's who she was. I like that. I was like, that's Becky. 100% that is Becky. And same with Jonathan. And because of the scenes that you three had with each other, and, you know, not to take away Jeremy, you know, you and his interaction, or even Jim's, but obviously we had much more of a focus with you and Maria and Jonathan, and kind of, you know, was that easy to do? Were they, you know, was there any specific sequences that you were like, man, I just want this to end? Like, it is so emotionally draining. Anything like that?
I mean, the whole cast was awesome. Everyone got along, loved each other. You know, I loved Maria. We had known each other before, actually. I was really rooting for her to get the part. You know how I said I was in about 5 hours reading a bunch of different actors. Yeah, I really rooted for her to get the part, not just because not because I knew her, but because I felt was just killed it. You know, she was amazing. So, I was very happy when she got the part, and we really got to know each other on this one. Like, we knew of each other. She had actually worked in a film with me, it was brief. So this, on I Spit, we actually really got to know each other. So she was fantastic to work with. And Jonathan, I did not know at all. And yeah, he was wonderful as well. Like, I was very blessed to have a phenomenal supporting cast to be so great to work with.
Yeah, I mean, and they all got to show up, because given the content, if you don't, the audience is going to know, and then if the audience knows, well, then you've lost everyone, and that's, you know, it's not good for anything. So was there any specific sequence throughout the film that you were like, this question's actually for me, that was the hardest to shoot for you, or that you were kind of the most exhausted by?
It was the rape.
Yeah. Okay. I was trying to. That's why I said non-consensual in the end. But you know what? I'm glad you said it. It makes me feel better that you said it and not myself. But I kind of, you know, I thought it could go either way. I thought that you could definitely say that, or you could be like, oh no, that was actually the easiest portion. You want to know the hardest part was when I was in the grave getting hit in the head with a shovel. I don't know, you know, just whatever. So.
Yeah, no, the rape was the hardest. I mean, it was 4 days.
Whoa.
We filmed that. Whoa. Yeah. And it was really hot, very, very hot, and just very physical. And, you know, when you're doing physical work, too, it's easy to get hurt, even if it's just a little bit, you know what I mean? So you're always kind of on your guard when someone's throwing punches at you and stuff. Right, you know what I mean? Doing stunts. So that takes a lot of, mental and physical capacity, I think, to get through that. So 4 days of that was very, very emotional and physical. Did you get any injuries at all? Any physical injuries during that 4-day stint? There was something that happened, but I'm not really keen to talk about it. Hey, that's okay. That's okay. But, yeah, it was just a total accident, which, like I said, it's very easy for things like this to happen. Like, I know Camille talks about on the original, she was accidentally kicked. Yeah, so it's normal, and when you're doing scenes like this, you expect it as an actor who's doing their own stunts. So, you know, it's not anything I'm not used to, but we got through it. I mean, you know, I had a great crew and cast, and they're very supportive, and we called it Rape Week. Because it went on for so long. But actually, I thought it was going to be worse, to be honest. After seeing Camille in the 78, I thought that the rape was going to be more than what was written, because what was written wasn't necessarily what was going to happen. Like, it could have been extended or whatever. And we talked about this at length with Meir and Terry and stuff. And so I was expecting, because of the original, it to be like way worse than it was. So I felt like they went very light on me, compared to Camille.
I gotta tell you, so I avoided seeing I Spit on Your Grave. I'm a huge movie fan. Like I don't even necessarily have a favorite genre anymore. But I had avoided I Spit on Your Grave for a very long time until the distributors had sent it to me before. And I gotta be honest, in the first one, I thought that it was over twice, and well, that was not true. So, and to do that one and then Deja Vu, like I still have some stigma surrounding it where I'm just like, oof, you can't ever do that again. It's like the one time that I watched nothing but Twin Peaks for about a month. No one should watch David Lynch and only David Lynch for a month. You will be whacked out of your mind after a while. So for in winding down here, Jamie, I guess this is a question for those toxic horror fans. Would you come back for another? Would you continue this franchise? Would you continue the brutality? Because once you see the ending, I think we got some unfinished business, Jamie.
Yeah, I absolutely would. Absolutely. And there's been very light talk, very light. And films do this a lot where there's light talk about a sequel of almost every horror film you ever do.
Right.
So that's not saying there will be one at all. But yeah, if there were, oh yeah, I would definitely be on board.
So I got an idea for you. Here's what you do. It's going to be set in a dystopian, futuristic, kind of like Blade Runner world, but it's not too far in the future. It's only like 30, 40 years, right? But now we do it in the city for the first time. Now you're fighting out of alleyways and whatnot as opposed to the forest. This is the best I could come up with. This is why nobody employs me as a writer. I was just throwing that out there.
Hey, I like it.
Just to have that very like, oh, well, shit, we made it from the woods to the city, and a lot of time has passed now. A lot of time has passed. So, in closing, I wanted to know where my audience can see you soon. If memory serves, you got quite a few things coming down the pike in 2022, yeah?
Yeah, so many things. Last year I didn't have much release. So I feel like everything's coming out around the same time. So it's going to be an interesting year, but yeah, I have Ash and Bone, which has been making its way around the festivals. So, and it has distribution, just waiting on the release date for that. And I have several others. Cold Blows the Wind is another horror. Colonials is a sci-fi. Homestead a horror. Sebastian, horror. Maybelline Prince, that's more like a drama based on a real story, like Maybelline Cosmetics. It's about that. I can't give away too much, but
that sounds very interesting.
Yeah, it looks beautiful. I've seen some of the footage. It's incredible. So yeah, and then I did one short film last year, which is a comedy, because I did all features and I did one short, but the short film is a comedy and it's so funny. It's so funny. Like, I've just seen it. So
I got to see you do some comedy work. That I don't think I've seen that yet. I got to see a little of that.
I love comedy, actually.
I can see you being a very good physical and slapstick comedic artist.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know my comedy much. I did a movie called Smothered by Mothers. That's a comedy. MILF, it's like a comedy as well. It's really funny too. I did that in 2010. That came out. So Smothered by Mothers is more recent. That's really good too. But yeah, I actually love comedy, you know.
Well, I told you that I would do 30, and I don't make people stay long. But before you go, I did want to say a couple of things. I thought I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu was a great continuation of the story. I thought it was jaw-dropping. I thought it was brutal. But more importantly, the work that, and this is, again, we live in a world now where we read headlines and we kind of take a step back and look big picture. This is no disrespect to any of the cast and crew that was on there. You stick out in my mind in this film, and I think without your presence, without your strength, and kind of your relentless pursuit of your craft for this particular film, I'm here to tell you, Jamie, I'm a fan, and I'm going to continue to follow you. And I'm definitely, anytime you are wanting to come back on the show and discuss any of the work that's coming out this year, I can tell you right now, you are more than welcome, Jamie.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. Very kind words. Thank you.
Not a problem. We're going to get you out of here, Jamie, but thank you so much for coming on, and I hope that we will talk soon, okay?
Okay, sounds good. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Okay, bye.
We're going to get Jamie out of here. I spit on your grave, Deja Vu, Jamie Bernadette. Jamie Bernadette, wasn't that fun? I had a good time. Ellis Cinema, I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu, An Evening with Jamie Bernadette. What a good time. You can see this now released by Ronin Flicks, and if you're not into the physical media, it is on Tubi for free. Ellis Cinema, Jamie Bernadette, we're gone.